And welcome to the Raleigh Municipal Lighting Plant Board of Commissioners, September 13th, 2017 at 7:02 p.m. And as a reminder, this meeting is being audio and video recorded electronically. First item on the agenda is citizens' query from 7:02 to 7:12 p.m. Okay, the other issue that we have, the next issue anyway, review and approve past meeting minutes. We have two sets. One is one is July 12th, 2017, and the other one is August 2nd, 2017.
Give me a motion, Mr. Chairman, for July 12th, 2017.
Okay. Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. And again.
Thank you.
Okay, the August 2nd minutes, 2017.
Give me a motion, Mr. Chairman, for August 2nd.
Motion made.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Have I got one more?
No.
I have a son.
Bob,
It's,
yeah.
Bob.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Item number 3 on the agenda, continue discussion that was tabled from the last meeting about employee benefits.
At the last meeting, you asked me for a little bit more information as far as, we had discussion about employee benefits and how much an extra benefit beyond what you had already given the employees would cost. Basically, I just put a quick list together of what it would cost for different percentages above and beyond what they've already gotten. You have to share. And these are estimates, only because it's hard to predict how much overtime.
This is straight salary.
No, this is with some overtime added in, so it's got base amount of overtime, and it's got the standby figured in, but it is still an estimate.
And the figure on the left that's the total for,
That's the total for the year. The
Total.
top one is a total for what would be 17 if nothing else happened.
okay.
And the next one down would be an added 1% on what they had already gotten, and so on and so
And
forth.
the one on the right,
Is the amount that it's gonna cost to give the action to 1% for the entire year.
what was your figure recommendation from last time? Dan?
What you had voted on for the employees for the raise was 2% for the line staff and 1% for, 1.5% for the office staff.
Does the board mind if I approach for a second?
No, go ahead.
I did the liberty of doing some homework.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Basically, what it shows is the difference, the figure to the far right, the difference between a 1% raise in addition to what we've already got to a 2% raise. So it would cost regular pay $7,439 extra from a 1% raise to a 2% raise annually.
That's just the base rate of pay, no overtime or anything.
Right, the bottom number is estimated overtime. That I did the best of my ability going through the general ledger. and
Okay.
such.
So we're not that far off.
So it wouldn't be that much more of an increase to go from a 1% to a 2%.
Dan, do you still have the figures for the other departments?
No, I don't think I brought that with me tonight.
I'll let Mike. Bob, do you still have that?
I think so. I just got a little part.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's the one
Yeah.
I did there, yeah. And one of those should be myself, and the other one should be the employees, so
Right.
there is a difference between the two.
Okay. Not quite sure what that represents, but it is something.
I think the one with the yellow, green, and orange is the one I did, yeah, that one there.
Yeah, this is another thing.
So what are they really looking for?
Well, I mean, this all came about as the commissioners know, at the last meeting before last, when the last meeting when we had the vote on the rescinding the stipend vote, and that kind of all came about as to, we were gonna do something else besides the stipend, because the stipend was part of the original package that I recommended as the 2%, the 1.5, and the stipend was part of the original package that the board voted for. So when they rescinded the vote for the stipend, I thought, maybe we should do something extra, but I mean, like I said, this is what we had discussed at the last meeting. The information that you wanted is here.
Okay.
And your recommendation, Dan?
I would say go at least 3%, if not more. That would be a 1% for the line staff and a 1.5% for the office staff.
Again, that would be 1.5 for the office.
Yep, and then the 1% for the line staff, to bring everybody to 3%.
What happened to the talk about having everybody on the same scale?
That would put everybody on the same scale. Everybody
Well-
would get a 3%.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not paying them you're talking the increase. I'm saying, why aren't they all the same all the way across? There was
Right.
talk about that at the last meeting.
What do you mean, like, everybody gets paid the same amount? No, the hourly wages, these are for the hourly wages for the linemen are all the same.
Yeah, but,
The percentage is all the same across the board.
Can I say something? Going back 2 meetings, you guys voted for the stipend of, I believe it was a shade under $2,700. So you obviously felt that $2,700, call it, times the 7 employees, that you're okay with giving that figure out, whatever, number that adds up to. You took it away at the next meeting based on you weren't comfortable with the language from the lawyer and,
Well, it was not in the personnel folder, okay, so it was null and void.
yeah.
It wouldn't have held up to scrutiny.
Right, and whatever, I wasn't at that meeting, but from what I heard, whatever your reasons were for rescinding it, it didn't sound to me like it was based on the monetary value that you had to change the heart on that monetary value. So what I'm saying is, if the $2,700 per person for the 7 employees was acceptable the meeting before that, if we were to do just another 1% increase here, that's adding $8,300 to the payroll, which is going to be significantly lower than what you said you were comfortable with 2 meetings ago.
Well, I thought we had something like 2.5.
Right. If you remember.
0.505.
Yeah, and all that basically became null and void when we ended that meeting, and basically, so all that discussion is kind of.
Here we're talking
Yeah,
3%.
yes. Yeah, I mean, you asked for my recommendation,
Yeah,
that's the
right.
recommendation I'm giving you.
Okay.
Yeah, we think 3% would work. We'll see how it goes for the year. If we wind up bankrupt, then we know we made a mistake.
Another, it's gonna cost you roughly between a 1% for all the employees is $8,000, a 1.5 is $12,000, so it's gonna roughly cost you about $10,000 for the year. Not a lot of money.
I believe at the last meeting,
Yes, it is less than the stipend.
based on the numbers that you had last meeting, based on using, this factors in the overtime, so it would be a little bit different, but based on just straight pay, I believe you came up with a figure an additional 2.75% would be equal to the stipend.
The $2,600 for the year, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like I said before, a 1% raise, that's not even close to what we had 2 meetings ago when we.
But this
when
will be
we
a
were told that we had
total,
this
but
stipend.
this will be a total of 3%.
Total of 3% for the year.
Whereas
I'm looking at, where is it?
Did I put all the stuff
Yeah.
so when we had the 2% and the stipend, it was
That is
equivalent to us having the
where
2%
the
we
other,
already have plus
where
an
the other
additional
departments are.
2.75. I understand that once you factor in the overtime and the standby, that it's not really gonna be 2.75 is gonna push it past that.
Well, and think about it this way too, when you factor in the percentage raise into all the overtime
that's-
rates and the
the
call
other
and the standby and
you're
everything
looking at.
else,
Comparable.
that's gonna add up to a lot more than just a basic 1% raise. That's gonna add a lot more into all the overtime rates.
Well-
So will it account for the, no, it probably won't then, but
Based on, at 2,700 per employee times 7 employees that would get it, I come out with 18, that would cost, that stipend would have cost the light department $18,900 a year. So now you're looking to vote in something that's gonna cost
about $10,000,
about $10,000. So
about $8,000 off.
yeah, so by changing your mind a couple meetings back, you're saving almost $9,000, roughly $9,000. Well, all I'm saying is, what you were comfortable with 2 meetings ago, I don't see how and your reasons for taking it away weren't based on money to the light department, so why can't we come to an agreement where the money roughly stays the same, you know what I mean? Like if we were to go according to this sheet, 2% would cost us $16,559 for the year, so that
be
still
honest-
puts us under.
I fully didn't understand all the different percentages, the way they were thrown out at that particular time. I was looking at the 2.5, what was it, 2.05, 2.505
Something like that.
as the line, okay? So that's the figure I was looking at.
I believe the math was wrong on that. I think that,
There was numbers thrown around that night, back and forth, but I was confused when I walked out of here with that number. And then again, you know, it wouldn't, that's the word spice stipend was thrown out there, and it wouldn't have flown, because there was nothing in the personnel book
Right.
that was there. So,
So 3%
I'm comfortable
raise.
with the 3%.
Yeah, I can live with that.
He's still shaking his head.
well, I mean, you guys are here to make the decisions, and I mean, there's nothing we can do to sway that. All I can do is tell you where we're arriving at our numbers, and I still feel like the numbers we're trying to get to, I still feel like is a compromise on our end. So I feel like 1% is,
I'm kind of looking at the other departments equal in size here,
Mm-hmm.
and they're 2.5%, 3% in that range.
With the one and the two, that gives them the 3.
Just keep in mind, the insurance is not in our control. It's nothing to do with us. You just can't.
well, I feel like, do you understand where I'm coming from? I'm
I
trying to get
understand.
back to what we felt like we had. When we walked out of the meeting 2 meetings ago, we felt like we had a 2% raise and $2,700. I'm just trying to get us back up to that amount through a different means. I understand we can't do the stipend, and I understand like what you're saying based on just straight pay numbers, you know,
Right.
you
Well-
can't- the 2.75 doesn't work out, but, I mean, going based on these numbers, 2% is gonna cost roughly 16.5, 2.5% is gonna cost roughly 25. And that $2,700 stipend was gonna cost 18,900. I mean, is there any chance we can meet in the middle at an additional 2.25%? I mean, that would roughly give us what we had with the stipend, based on these numbers.
So it would be a total of 3.25.
No, you're talking 5.25,
No, it would be 4.25 total.
4.25.
Because this would just be in addition to the 2% we already
Right.
have, right?
And you know, and I'm a little against, I'm against adding more money to payroll to cover any kind of cost like that, because of what I had originally said. When I first put the proposal forward, the reason that I had done the stipend was because it's a lump sum every year, and it doesn't tie anything to payroll. It doesn't, everybody gets the same amount, and it's not tied to a payroll amount. It's not, the percentages, like your percentage is, the percentages are gonna be different for everybody as far as the dollar amount. A stipend is the same for everybody, and that's the way I approached it the first time, but I don't wanna tie any kind of like that to any kind of hourly wage, and a 4.25% is a lot. I mean, I know the battle you're facing with the health insurance cost, and it is getting crazy. But, and I hate to say this, but it's not in the control of the light department for the health insurance. That cost is out of our control.
We
I understand
understand
that.
that.
You know, and I do feel bad that we can't do anything about it, because I'd love to if we could, but we just can't.
I mean, me personally, I've been here for 7.5 years, and I have 7.5 years worth of pay stubs, and my pay has been equal or less as the years go on, take-home pay. So I'm working for less money with 7.5 years' experience.
I'm looking, this is the industry, we're on the high end.
It's a small sampling of,
Yeah.
yeah.
But my spreadsheet shows that it's a very small increase, as does Dave, pretty close.
I'm comfortable with 3.
What do you think, Ken?
Well, it seems to me that 2% plus the 1% they already have gives you the 3%,
Mm-hmm.
which we originally talked about, I thought. Isn't that what we go back to?
Well, originally at that first meeting, we were talking 3% plus the stipend. If you remember at the
And somebody
that
is,
was the July
That
meeting.
meeting.
Again, and then we were talking percentages and everything else, and I was very confused when I walked out of there. And realized that afterwards, what the numbers were.
Well, I'm just,
Yeah,
you know,
I know where
Kenny's
they
saying
are
that we
already.
originally asked for
I understand
3.
that.
I'm saying that we asked
Yeah.
for 3 plus stipend.
the question was asked, who controls the insurance part of the process? And it's the state of Massachusetts that does that.
It's not the Board of Selectmen?
No.
Then how come different towns have different percentages?
It's up to them.
It's up to the town. The town votes it in.
Yeah.
So the selectmen?
No,
can
not
vote.
the selectmen, the town. The town's people
Town.
at town meeting
Gotcha.
voted in,
Okay.
not the selectmen. So it has to be brought forth in front of the town as a town meeting article, and then the town would vote on it at town meeting for an increase.
And then everybody comes under 30B.
Right, and 30B just governs that each department gets the same amount, no matter which department you're in the town, we all get the same amount, no matter which department you're in. We all contribute the same.
I'll make a motion to be set at 3% total. Recommendation of Dan's.
We have a motion, Ken. What do you think?
Can we do 2%?
2% plus the one they already have, which is 3. That's what I go for.
Ken, I don't know if you heard me, I made a motion for 3% total.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
3% increase. Done.
Just a quick question for myself. The retroactive back to July 1st? I would say so.
Yep.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Have we done any of that yet? We backed it out the last time?
Oh, the 2 and the 1% are already done. So it'd just be the extra 1.5 and 1 that would go back to July 1.
Okay. I didn't know if they had already had some retro.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, we did.
I know you already voted, but does this apply to all the employees?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
That's what, that was
includes,
my,
includes myself and all the employees.
well, we should do,
Well, that's why I'm asking.
yeah, that's what we should.
Just a clarification.
Yeah, I think we should make a motion for that. Because we have to adjust that.
Well, I mean, it's part of the requirement, it's part of his contract, that we keep him in line with the
But I
rest of the
think make it
employees.
official.
I think, I would feel better if the board made it as official with a vote.
Okay.
Give it that motion to bring Dan to 3%.
Okay, I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Okay.
Motion carried. Okay. That's the paperwork here. Gonna put that in the archives.
Not over yet. We got plenty more for you.
Okay, item number 4 on the agenda is financial update on, as of July 31, 2017.
I'll pass you out a copy of the operation and maintenance budget
Okay.
with the attached expense report. Sorry, Eric, I usually leave one over there for you. What do you need? Oh, but the capital, oh yeah, yeah, sorry. I'll give you a minute to look it over before we... So let me know when you're ready to go through this.
Yeah, I mean, I see it looks pretty decent. There's only one, actually. That had an overage, I guess.
What's that, outside services employed? That's,
Yeah, that's the only over, that's the account we use for lawyers, for engineering services sometimes, but mostly for lawyers for contracts and whatnot, and I have been using them for a couple of solar contracts, the Central Street one, and the one that we're gonna talk about in number 5, I'm sorry. But, so that's basically the reason for the overrun in that. It fluctuates back and forth. And of course, the legal battles we've been fighting on Capitol Hill as far as all the stuff that's going on with intervening in FERC orders and things like that. That's costing to have a lawyer on that stuff too. So
But you can't afford not to.
no, there's a lot more money at stake than just what's in that budget. So.
Mhm.
So as you can see on the expense report, we're at 60.22% for the year of spent money out of the budget as of July 1. I think that puts us right in the ballpark to where we should be. There's only that one account that's over as of right now. The rest of the accounts there's a few that are close. I'm monitoring those as we go along in the budget and expending accordingly so we don't go into a lot of red with a lot of the other accounts, but for the most part, everything looks good. And on the revenue side looks great. Merchandising and jobbing were already 30 plus for the year, and the rest of the accounts are right where they should be as far as the end of July. Actually, we're probably going to break all the revenue numbers for the year. I think we'll probably exceed all the revenue numbers for the year. So as, to date, right now, profit is at $449,000. But I would caution you as that's probably gonna go down in the next couple of months. We're approaching the shoulder months. This is July, so this is our peak period in selling.
Yep.
But we're heading into the September, October, November shoulder period. Generally, when we hit those months, we tend to lose money. because we're not selling as many kilowatt hours, and the cost that we're paying out, especially the capacity market cost and the transmission cost, is still high. So you'll see this cushion right now dwindle quite a bit over the next couple of months. But the revenue is right on track to either exceed or make the numbers that I budgeted.
Looks good, Ken.
Thank you. Any
Yep.
questions, or?
No, everything looks very good.
One question I have, are you getting these often enough, do you think? Every quarter is good, or do you want them more
Yeah,
often?
No, the quad is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, if you look at it it's not gonna really.
I think that if you
be
saw
much.
something alarm, I'm sorry, Bob.
No, go ahead,
Go
Bob.
ahead, no, go ahead.
I could get one every month, and it's just gonna be, to lose track of it.
Yeah.
You know, with
yeah.
this, it gives you, okay, well, yeah, right here, there's one here, but it's not that bad. We know why it's doing it. If you don't kinda do that, then you lose track, or at least we will lose track as to what's going on.
Okay, all
But
right.
if you saw something that was out of kilter, just to, alert us to it.
Yep, okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Well, it's actually his job to fix it.
That's right, yeah, that's true.
Well, there's that too.
I would just, when we're talking about budget and everything else, for next month, could we go back and just kind of talk about electric cars that was touched on at the NEPA conference? Because I think it's something that, I think we need to discuss, especially with the public. Because I think there was a lot of information that was brought out at the NEPA conference about that, I kind of read between the lines and a lot of stuff that, you pointed out and I pointed out in the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg and all that about electric cars and where they're coming and it's going to be hybrid, or is it going to be all electric vehicles and batteries? And, and someone approached me, was it today or the other day, where we're going to get electricity? And I think that's something we just need to talk about, I think.
Okay.
Because I think it's gonna fall upon us a lot quicker than we think.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, I have that on the item, as an agenda item next month.
Okay. So we're all set with the
Yep.
budget? Yep. Okay.
So I'll hand out the capital budget, just so you have a copy of that.
Thank you. Can't get any closer than that.
No, it's, as far as a total, we're about halfway through where we should, we're pretty much where we should be. There are a couple of accounts that have exceeded their capital line item for the year. One of them is line transformers.
Right.
The other one is, I just lost it, meters. Those two have exceeded their capital for the year, and basically, due to increases in houses being built and transformers being replaced, we needed to buy more equipment than we had budgeted for. So that's the increase for the line item in the budget.
Have we lost transformers due to troubles?
No, maybe one or two here or there, but nothing major. No,
Okay.
no. This is more new.
New construction, they're probably underground anyway, right, surface mount?
It's, yeah, pad mount, underground.
Pad mounts, yeah.
Those are, most of those are capitalized, well, and you would see them in here as far as a budget item. There are some private ones that are going in that would not, you would not see in here as part of our, because they're privately owned transformers.
Right, they pay for the company pays for it.
Yeah.
Not our company, but their company.
Their company pays, and some would remain private and some will remain as part of RMLP capital.
Yeah. That's good, because we get the depreciation.
The street lighting is halfway through. We are done with the street lighting for the year, as far as the list that we had gotten approved with the selectmen.
Yeah.
So what we're probably gonna do is start buying more LED fixtures, to basically start just replacing as these lights burn out, not only because of ballast and whatnot, but just stop buying bulbs altogether and just start replacing LED fixtures as we go. A lot of municipal light departments are basically going right to LED fixtures and not even, they're just taking perfectly good lights down and replace them with LED fixtures, so. What you'll see in this budget for next year and the capital budget for street lighting is probably a larger item than that, only because we're probably gonna start doing wholesale change-outs of streets next year for that line item, so that line item will be a lot bigger next year.
But in the end, it does pay.
It will pay, yes. It'll be kilowatt hour savings for the town in the street lighting budget. And it's a better light quality.
Yeah. Yep.
And the maintenance costs would go way down for us.
And as I say, on a personal note, just changing the LEDs in the house made a big difference. 1/3 savings. So, people can save.
Yeah.
Okay, item number 5, solar opportunity on Weathersfield Street.
I want to give you a quick update. I don't really want to say much about it yet, only because we're still in negotiations with the persons involved, so I don't want to
Okay.
reach any kind of confidentiality, but we are progressing. It's a 1 megawatt solar facility. It'll be, we're discussing the PPA and the purchase power agreement and the 8th connection agreement now. We're moving forward with the system impact study. It's going to be at a location where it's going to be a little difficult for us, but I think we can manage it as far as the location and how we're going to distribute the power from the facility. But it's going to be good for us. It's at a good price, so it's going to be good for us and the town, I think.
Good.
So I'll keep you up to date, but the PPA and the IA should be signed probably by the end of this week, if not early next week. So then we'll start, and then I'll have more information for you as far as who, where, what, when, and how, and that way I can better inform you as to where it is. And
Did you get any records yet on, or information on the one that's already up and operating? Do we know how that's working?
it's doing great.
Is it?
Yeah, it's doing great. It's don't have a lot of data to fall back on yet, and it hasn't been on that long. But
Yeah,
as
no,
soon as
I
we
know,
get
but-
the 6 months worth of data, we'll get a better idea how it's
I
performing.
just was curious as to if it was working out as we hoped it would.
It's so far so good. Yeah, it's working out great. Yeah, they went online and they haven't tripped offline yet. And as far as I know, we haven't had any issues as far as the ramping up and the ramping down of the solar as far as within the local distribution area. So I would say it's working very well.
Okay, that's good. Good news.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, one more item. Review and accept 2016 financial audit.
Okay, I had emailed you a digital copy of this, but I always will give you the hard copy at the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Financial.
Yeah, I think I did go through it a little bit on the computer itself. I don't know if I printed it, but
And this is the management letter. Yeah, you don't want to print it, it's fairly long. So I would hope I got it to you in enough time so you could review it and take a quick look at it, and, that way we, don't have to waste too much time going through this tonight, but, I mean, if you have any questions, please feel free to. But I didn't, as the manager, I didn't see anything in here that jumped out at me as far as any of the remarks by the auditor, as far as good, bad, or indifferent, that everything seems to be in order with the audit.
I mean, there was nothing, no deficiencies, no.
No, nothing that would rise to, as he stated, there's a certain wording that he uses as far as deficiencies go, and that nothing rose to that level, that he would need to report it.
Look good?
And I do, it is later than usual, and only because of, there was changes in the, I believe it was the OPEB law, where the numbers that we were using for the actuarial studies weren't within a date range that needed to be, so we had to wait for the new numbers to come out for him to finalize the audit. So, and the town was doing a lot of borrowing, so if he did finalize it earlier, it would have had a qualification in it to say that because I don't have these numbers, I can't fully give you a clean audit, so
Right.
in order for I know the town was going through a lot of borrowing, or will be going through a lot of borrowing, so they didn't need to have a department with an audit that had a qualification on it, so
Right.
it was just as soon, just wait till it was done, and, but,
Yeah.
so it's a clean opinion and everything is good with the audit.
Good. That's what counts. Okay, anything else?
Just maybe a vote to approve or accept the audit?
I'll give you that motion to accept the audit.
Yeah, second.
Motion made and seconded. Accept the audit. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you.
Opposed? Motion carried.
In the future, if you'd like just a digital copy, just let me know, because the auditor asks me every year, do you need digital copies and hard copies, or just digital copies, or, so in the world today, we try to save as much paper as possible, so
Exactly, yeah.
if you're happy with a digital copy, let me know, and I won't take the printed copies, or I'll print them myself and just give you a copy. It won't be a,
Yeah, this is fine,
okay.
as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because I only get the 4 printed copies now, it used to be a lot more than that.
Yeah, a copy of it would be fine.
Okay, all right.
Okay. If nothing else, Mr. Chairman, I'll give you a motion to adjourn.
As Robert's Rule of Order says, motions to adjourn take priority. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.